I went from 0 to 50,000 followers in 3 days.
What?
Crazy. I know. I don't think you can do that today.
Oh my God.
I'm also on Prime Video, which is pretty
Wow.
cool. Yeah. So I'm like, I got my own little TV show.
Wait, I didn't know that. I guess I didn't do enough research.
Aspiring creators or new creators, one of the goals for every platform that's out is to keep the users on the app.
Welcome to Just Send It. Today I'm here with Sal. Sal, do you mind introducing yourself?
Thank you for having me, first of all. Sure. Yeah, my name is Sal Farzin. I'm based here in Austin, Texas. I've been a content creator for a little over 5 years. And it's funny because I've been purchasing products online for well over 15 years. And I just decided one day over the dinner table, my kids, actually, the inspiration was my kids. My kids were like, "Oh, Dad, you're too old to be on social media." And I said, "Wow, that's really a great challenge." And it was really during the height of the pandemic. And I said, "Hey, I'm looking to find some alternative ways to keep busy as well as make some additional money." And so I knew about affiliate marketing a long time ago. And I felt like, hey, you know what, since I buy products, my wife also loves purchasing products online. And this whole thing around TikTok and Instagram was like a new thing. Let's just make product review videos. And so it just kind of happened on July 1st, 2020.
Wow, that's really awesome. Well, in case anybody is new to Sal's content, you talk a lot about gadgets and tech. Mm-hmm. And again, I went through a doom scroll of your content and I was just watching all of them because it's so interesting. And there's so many things that I would have never even found. Yeah. I'm curious just to kind of start gadgets in general. Is that something that you've always been interested in, or did you just see an opportunity for monetization and you decided to kind of lean into it?
Yeah. So the funny story around that is I've always been interested in tech.
Okay.
Most people don't know this. I built my first computer when I was 13.
Wow.
Kind of crazy, a long time ago. And ever since then, also my background's also in software engineering. So I kind of went down that path. Main categories I typically focus on that I really am passionate about are number one, tech and gadgets, a lot of home and kitchen gadgets as well.
Yeah.
And just overall lifestyle type of products as well. I think my main goal is to help innovate. If there's a better mousetrap out there, I think it's really important, and just to make people's lives a little bit easier. And so my job is to find these cool, nifty gadgets, and hopefully people gravitate towards it. And the good thing about the products that I typically review is I usually try to pressure test them just to make sure they pass my own litmus test before I make a recommendation on them.
So what is that test?
So number one, I think it's important to know okay, well, are the reviews are they good?
Right.
Are they accurate reviews, right? For the most part. Is the product, based on the description of the product online, does it do exactly what it's intended on doing? Right. And then just also over a period of time, it could be a week, it could be a month. Does it just still hold up based on the original design and just whatever it was expected to do? And so based on kind of those parameters and a couple of other things, then I make a recommendation.
I really like that you shared that, because I think that content creators sometimes have a bad rap for endorsing products that that they haven't tried, mm-hmm. or that they're just getting paid to do it, and it's some cheap thing that doesn't even work well.
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately, I think all of us as content creators may have dabbled into that a little bit at the beginning. And I know I myself was burned at the beginning as well, because I took on a brand partnership where I really wasn't 100% sure about the product. And it turned out that the product was not as good as it was intended for. And so I felt bad, because I think as a content creator, whatever you recommend, your audience is going to resonate towards it. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you recommend bad products, then of course they may not come back and take your recommendation anymore.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's why I always encourage content creators to, like you said, try the product first and make sure that you actually fully endorse it and stand behind it. But I know it's really easy to kind of get caught in that trap.
Absolutely, yeah.
So right off the bat, I kind of want to just throw this out there. Mm-hmm. You have these hooks in the beginning of your videos where you'll do the same hook. It's what is it? Random Amazon finds that slap.
Yeah.
That just slap.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
It's funny because I think it's a great question, by the way. I think it is a combination of the vernacular and the verbiage that my kids use.
It slaps.
It slaps. If that slap, I heard it around the house and I said, you know what, that might be interesting. So the funny thing about the hook, it started initially as random Amazon finds you just might need.
Right.
And then somewhere along the way, I said, you know what? My kids typically use the word cap or slap. So then I kind of pivoted into a new series that said, hey, I'm reviewing these products and let's see if they're cap or slap. And then somehow I pivoted again. I said, you know what? Let's take what we did initially and then take a part of the second iteration. And I think maybe third time was a charm because we ended up going with random Amazon finds that just slap.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually so crazy. I love that you get the inspiration from your kids. Mm-hmm. So do they still have a say in your content today?
They don't have as much of a say in the content today, but they do help out quite a bit, whether it is either updating my website, my storefront, finding new products that I should go ahead and test out, and also doing a little bit of graphic design.
I love that. That's so cool. It's a cool way to like bring it all together with your family.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I was very interested in those hooks. And the other thing too that I noticed that you do in your content a lot, which I also wanted to ask about, is like there's a slight sometimes of like some rage bait. Like I see like the, I don't know, like you mentioned like the ex-wife or like something like that.
Yeah, there is a little bit of that. I think, especially if I work with brands, I have to be careful because I think as a content creator, brands are very specific around making sure there isn't any type of derogatory things, any bad mouthing of any other products. So the good news is we don't do any of that. But I think they also do understand, especially with brands that have worked with me before, they're like, well, we understand Sal's content. We understand that in order to take the content to the next level and potentially reach a bigger audience, we have to add a little bit of humor to it.
Right.
So I think adding the ex-wife component could be one of them. The other one could be around, potentially lightly mispronouncing certain words. And that happens on occasion. Sometimes it actually happens by default.
Just on accident.
Yeah, and I tell people, like, you know what? I meant to say this, and it just turned out to be like that. I just feel like I like to experiment and just test to see what works. Sometimes it's a little bit too far, then I have to pull it back a little bit. And then also the other thing that I try to incorporate in some of my pieces of content is some sort of an Easter egg. I think most people, when they watch my content, they're like, well, yeah, I've seen those bananas pop up in different places throughout his content. And so it could be in the hook, it could be somewhere in the middle, or it could be at the end, but I try to keep it interesting. So I think my goal is to not rage bait in any capacity, but maybe sometimes it happens because I truly believe that in this day and age that we live in, especially with like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all these emerging platforms, you have to do something a little bit different to get people to react.
Right.
So reacting, it could be in a positive way, it could be in a negative way, but some sort of a reaction I think is good. It's healthy.
Yeah. I guess rage bait wasn't quite the right word, but like you do these little things. And this is why I think your content is so interesting, because you have these little moments where you can tell that you did this intentionally and it was like something that was thought out. And a lot of times, at least from what I was seeing, like it does result in people commenting like, oh my God, why? I think there's one where you had like your ex-wife's hair or something. And it was like, why is the hair on the carpet? Or I don't know, something like that. Yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but like just little moments.
It just pops up. I think one had to do with like an iced coffee that I spilled it, and someone commented. I remember one of the comments was like, "Oh, I know why he did that because he was like upset.
Yeah,
so he purposely like knocked it over." So I think they all know it's pretty friendly.
Yeah.
And it just keeps things interesting.
Yeah. I think it's pretty cool to see like the thought behind even the smallest little moments in a video.
Yeah. And the funny thing about that is because the way that I produce my content is probably a little bit different than most people. I actually initially started with recording footage. This is actually a good segue. Recording footage and then doing a voiceover. And I found out that was the most difficult way to do this. So I kind of reversed it in a way where I typically write the script or concept, then I do the voiceover.
Got it.
And then I will edit the voiceover clips, and then I'll just film the content that I need. But the funny thing is, back to your question around the potential rage bait type stuff, it's when I'm filming the content, sometimes that just pops up in my head. I'm like, oh, it would be really cool if I do this.
Got it.
And then if my daughter or my son is helping me record content, I bounce it off of them. they're like, oh, Dad, it's a little bit too much. Or that's a great idea.
Right.
And so sometimes like these new things just pop up in my head as I'm filming content.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting to kind of get like a look into how you're actually like what your process looks like. And that was definitely something that I wanted to ask you because you do post very consistently, like especially I noticed it was just like Prime Week, you know, like especially during that time, like you were posting a lot. What does your like, I guess, I know you just kind of went into your process, but do you ever like reuse content or batch content or anything like that?
Yeah. So reusing content actually has been a very powerful tool for me. Reusing content can mean different things for different people, right? So for example, it could be a piece of content or a product review that I did a year ago. Mm-hmm. Maybe it didn't take off, or maybe it took off. And then this year I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and reshoot the content or take bits and pieces of that original content and just redo a voiceover. And sometimes if I'm not feeling well, I don't even do a voiceover. I find some sort of a trendy audio and I attach it to the video. And all of a sudden you find that the video does really well.
Yeah.
So I think reusing content or repurposing content is really important. You can also do, especially in our world where we do a lot of affiliate marketing, batch content creation or what I call compilations. Like it could be like my top 3 kitchen gadgets or my top 3 home gadgets or whatnot. You can always reuse that piece of content.
Right.
And it works really well.
So like reuse the same footage, but you just turn it into, instead of its own video, maybe it's like a compilation video where you're still using that footage. You don't have to refilm it type thing.
Yeah. And one of the most successful things that I've done, and I think I did this maybe about a year ago, was each and every month on the first day of the month, I would go back and take a look at my top 10 best-selling products. And I turned it into a compilation. Yeah. It's a series called My Most Loved from the previous month.
I like that.
And so one thing I found out is I don't necessarily need to go and refilm the content. I already have the footage.
Right.
You just go ahead and assemble it, but I redo the voiceover.
Right.
And I may introduce a new hook, something really compelling at the beginning, and just make sure it's about a minute 10 seconds long. And it does really well. And I usually publish that once a month.
Yeah, that's really awesome to hear. And I love to hear all these like little, I guess, hacks that content creators use because it is really hard to stay consistent with your content. So hearing, I guess, those different ways that you do that is really interesting. And then the other thing that I noticed about your content, not all the time, but a lot of your videos don't necessarily always show your face as well, which I was really intrigued by. And I was wondering if that was something that was intentional or something maybe, I don't know, maybe you don't want to be on camera all the time.
Yeah, so there's a couple of reasons for that. I think number one, I enjoy being on camera. Totally fine. Because I also do.
Yeah, you're here.
I do live streams and I'm here as well. Yes. I typically do live streams like 2 to 3 times a week.
Oh, so wow.
Front facing, hour long each session.
On TikTok?
Actually on Amazon.
On Amazon?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to get into that next.
Yeah, we will. So I enjoy being on camera, but I think one of the challenges that I've found, especially when you work with brands, you have to be extremely careful because, and I'll give you a real life example. Let's say I have a brand deal and they want me on camera. Totally fine, but I have to also be prepared where if there are any edits, I have to go and put the same clothes on.
Right.
And sometimes it's happened where I didn't get a haircut and I recorded the content and then I had to get a haircut and all of a sudden I had to reshoot the entire thing because they wanted a couple of different edits. So I think that's where you can get into a little bit of a hiccup, is where if you're working with a brand and you're on camera and you have to send it to them for approval, they're going to come back and say, well, either we love it or you need to edit out a couple of these scenes. So I think that's where the challenges come in for me. So for the most part, if I want to make it like super evergreen, just show my hands or show the product, that's kind of one of the reasons why I typically don't show myself in branded videos.
Right.
Just for that reason.
That is really smart. And I totally understand what you're saying because I've had that happen to me because I've worked with brands and I do UGC a lot. And like that type of content, it lends itself to a lot of edits. You know, they come back and they ask for revisions and it can be challenging.
Yeah.
I feel like especially as a girl, like we often change our hair a lot and makeup and it's hard to like match it up perfectly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think also like going back to the process, right? So if you're working with a brand, I typically send the concept to them first.
Right.
So they give me the approval. Then I start filming. Then I send them a draft. And one other hack, pro tip, if you do send a draft video to the brand, make sure please to include your watermark.
Oh, absolutely.
So I include a preview and then at Simply Sal Finds at the bottom, because I feel like some brands are notorious for taking your video and running ads against it without giving credit to you.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And that is so shady. And I hate that happens, but it absolutely does.
Happens all the time.
I did want to talk about brand deals. I'm not going to forget the Amazon thing.
Sure.
We're going to go to that later. But I did want to talk a little bit about brand deals because I know that you do brand deals. My first question involving that is, obviously, most of your videos are like affiliate based, whether you get them on Amazon or whatever. Do you get products sent by brands like for those types of videos? Like, does Amazon send you anything? Like, how does that work? Or do you normally buy most of the stuff?
Yeah, for brand deals. So first of all, I do have a management company, a talent management company where their sole job is to help bring in brand deals. And as part of most of the brand deals, the brands themselves will send me the product.
Right.
Yeah, they'll send me the product. 99% of the time it's for me to keep. And so I think one of the challenges as content creators is like, what do you do with all these products, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's a whole different discussion. So more often than not, they will send me the products. If I do have any like brand partnerships with like the actual publishers, like let's say it's Amazon or Walmart, they also will either ask me to purchase the products and they may reimburse me, or they'll just send me out the products.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So when you do brand deals, because you have such a specific style of content, like you have the hook, you have the this, like it's a lot, right? Do brands typically go along with your style, or do you notice that there's a little bit of like a pushback where they want like their own script, their own style?
It depends. I would say 80% of the time they let me have the creative freedom.
Right, which is great.
20% of the time they're like, hey, well, we like this, but can you say this instead of that?
Right.
And there are some instances where I've sent them my concept, they came back with their own concept, and my feedback was, I don't think this is going to work.
Yeah.
I'll do it, but I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah.
And 9 out of 10 times it doesn't work just because my audience isn't ready for it.
Right.
Right. So I've already primed my audience to know like, well, I know he's got a hook. There's going to be some sort of an Easter egg in there. And he may include something where he's probably looking for a reaction of some sort. And so if I don't stay within that narrative, a lot of times it flops. And brands kind of recognize it too.
That's honestly why I always love the brands that give the creator creative freedom. Because if you're a brand, I mean, maybe someone who owns a brand is watching this, but like if you give a content creator a script, it's really difficult because a lot of times that script just won't resonate. And even if the content creator's idea seems like a little bit crazy, like a little like, why would we go along with this? Like that's what's going to perform best. So it's interesting to hear that like some brands are a little bit hesitant to that, because I hate to hear that, because you know, I understand, but at the same time, like it's great to have the content that you know is going to perform well for that brand, you know?
Yeah. And you know, like, especially if you work with brands that are like mega brands, right? That they have a brand new product launch, maybe it's on Amazon, on Walmart, or on their own website. A lot of times I think it's okay to kind of follow what they're asking for you to do, because in those instances, I've found that those brands actually go and they boost the video.
Oh yeah.
Which I feel like it's a win-win situation, because your account looks better as a content creator, but they're also reaching the eyeballs that they need to help hopefully convert and raise awareness about their product.
I always like to ask people about brand deals because I feel like not many people talk about it. Like we see content creators do the sponsored posts, but there's not that much content about people talking about the behind the scenes.
Yeah, the behind the scenes, I mean, I think from a consumer perspective, everyone thinks like it's so easy to do all this stuff.
Oh yeah, it's so easy. It's such an easy job to be a content creator.
But when you're working all day and thinking about it all night and just thinking about, you know, what am I going to post tomorrow? And I'm going to be honest, I think some content creators are better at this than others, where they either have a content calendar. I'm not like that. Unfortunately, I'm just like, okay, what is the product for today? I order a bunch of stuff, I test it out, and then like each week I'll just like queue things up, and I just film the content and post. I think there's a fun component to it, right? You got to have fun, especially when you're creating content.
Well, it's nice that you actually enjoy it, right? Mm-hmm. Like you enjoy the gadgets. You've always liked tech, you said. And that's, I think, number one, like when people tell me, like, how do you stay so consistent with content? It's always, you have to find something that you actually like. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't like the thing that you've like put yourself into, the niche or the industry or whatever, then it becomes really difficult to do this every day.
Yeah, it does become difficult. And also, I will be honest that your audience picks it up as well. Mm-hmm. I think if you're trying too hard, I think they pick it up.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Sometimes it's okay to like take a break. You know? I mean, I mentioned we were in Europe for like 3 weeks. And so like, I was trying to stay as consistent as possible. But of course, Wi-Fi connectivity or just spending time with the family, like it prohibited you from posting as content as regularly as you wanted to.
Right.
And that's okay.
How do you prepare so because you like do so much with Amazon, how do you prepare for like a crazy week, like Prime Week? Like that just happened. Like what went into that strategy?
Yeah. So there's a lot that goes into that. I think preparation is key. I think number one is like looking at your historical reporting for Prime Day the prior year to see what sold the most. Mm-hmm. I think is really important. So I think analytics and data are extremely important in this case because the more preparation you do, the better success you'll have at like, turning things around quickly and posting stuff that people really want to buy. And I think also the other component is making sure that you have your graphics and everything in order. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, they use Canva. I mean, I know I do. And so having your templates ready to go, not necessarily including prices because of course, Amazon and some of the other outfits out there, they don't like you talking about prices. So I think percentage off or on deal this week are like different types of keywords that you want to include on your graphic design or your templates. And I think also just being really smart about asking your audience what they're looking for. So like Instagram provides a lot of tools, right? You've got like questions and polls and things that you can do online and getting people to get really excited about Prime Day because I always tell people like, hey, it's a family affair for us. My kids, my wife, everyone jumps in and just helps out either finding deals, building out collages, updating my storefront and just making sure that we really identify what type of posts we're going to do, whether it's videos, reels, videos. Carousels have been doing really well on Instagram lately. My daughter actually did a phenomenal job this Prime Day creating a bunch of carousels.
Yeah.
And getting people really jazzed and excited about like the beauty products. And I'm really surprised to know that I don't do any beauty products like promotion.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people buying beauty products.
Oh, yeah. That's a big market.
And so like we want to capitalize on that. Of course, we think about home and kitchen, tech and gadgets. But like, health and wellness is also important as well as like beauty and fashion.
Yeah. So like, admittedly, I don't know as much about being an Amazon creator. Mm-hmm. Like I know that I have a storefront. That's just about all that I know. I don't really take it, I guess, as seriously, Can you walk me through a little bit of that? Like, what does Amazon offer you as a creator? Is there anything that you do like that?
Yeah, I mean, so I think first and foremost, when I first started, and anyone can apply to be an Amazon associate, right? So you're an Amazon associate, and then you have to make a certain amount of sales over a certain amount of time in order to be eligible to continue to be in the program.
Right.
But I think once you reach a certain level, and they don't really tell you exactly what the requirements are in order to have a full-on storefront. So I think if you do have a storefront, then you actually, elevate to what they call the Amazon Influencer Program.
Yes.
So of course you can think about additional perks over being an associate. You have your own website or storefront that you can edit and you can create these different categories and it's really cool. I do feel like it's a great destination for people to go to know more about you as a content creator. All your curations that you have on there as well in terms of different products. So we focus a lot, we as in like my family and I, we focus a lot on making sure that the storefront itself is as up to date and current as possible because that is a destination that's linked across all my socials. Right. And so like having people go there, they can see videos on there. I also upload all my videos on there as well. You have shoppable posts, you have like different type of idea lists and everything. So I think being part of the Amazon Influencer Program does open up a lot more doors for people. Of course, it is a lot of work because just because you have a destination doesn't mean, just because you build it doesn't mean people are going to show up.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
So I think you as a content creator still need to do a great job of building a strong community on your social media platforms and just being really tactful and instrumental with how you promote your products. Right? Because you can promote your products either through Instagram stories. Of course, you can set up the automated DMs through Manychat to be able to kind of get those affiliate links. So I think you have to incorporate all of those tactics to get people to see your storefront. And if you wanted to, you can also apply to be an Amazon Live creator, and you can also have your live streams on your storefront. So there's a lot of opportunities to really capitalize on your storefront as an Amazon influencer.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to come back to Manychat, but I do want to talk to you about the live thing. Is that something that Amazon eventually can like pay creators to do, or I know you probably make money off of the affiliate links that you sell live. Yeah.
So a little bit about the Amazon Live program. There are like different tiers for the Amazon Live creator program. And like the highest tier is like a A-list. And so you get some additional access to some things being an A-lister. And I've been a part of the A-list group for almost 4 years now.
Cool.
Which is pretty cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I've just gotten to the point where like I usually stream about 1 to 2 times per week. And you can do like deals only streams, which is pretty good. And you can also do like different types of curations. Now, the nice part about the Amazon Live Creator Program is the fact that you can stream directly on your phone because they have their own free app. And you can also stream horizontally and vertically at the same time as well.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So like people on desktop and mobile, that's the idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And now I'm also a part of a small group of creators where I'm also on Prime Video, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So I'm like, I got my own little TV show.
Wait, I didn't know that. I guess I didn't do enough research.
It is definitely something really interesting because people can actually watch your stream live on their TV if they have Prime Video. And they can also shop using the Amazon shopping app.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so that's super cool. So, all right. So being that you have this Prime Video section, I'm assuming that's something that you monetize, right? Like Amazon pays you to do that.
Well, I mean, a lot of it is to do with like transactions that come through the live stream. I mean, that's really how the program does work.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's super cool. And I feel like I'm maybe not using Amazon the best way, but like, how do you find that? How do I watch an Amazon live stream? Why have I never seen them?
Yeah. I mean, if you actually go to Amazon.com, there is a live streams tab on there. And you should be able to see like the most current live streams happening. Sometimes it's on a replay if there are no live streams actually at that moment. And you can also see an upcoming schedule of upcoming streams as well.
That's so cool. Yeah. Wow. I feel like this is definitely just user error because I had no idea this existed. And this is really
totally
awesome.
Fine. I'm only saying this because the chat box is funny because like yesterday I did a live stream and someone said, hey, they just jumped on the chat. They're like, hey, I'm looking to exchange these shoes. Confusing my live stream with
the live chat, like the help center.
Like the live chat, yeah. So totally fine. I think there's just probably a little bit more education that needs to happen.
That's wild. Wow.
But I don't mind addressing them.
Yeah.
I actually do address them on live.
You're like, hey, go to the help center. They'll help you out.
Yeah.
But
you can also follow me here on my live stream. Yeah. Don't forget to do that.
While you're at it, click follow.
Yeah. So, but it's a really fun experience because you're also able to. One thing I do is I try to promote ahead of time, telling people I'm going live at this time. And then afterwards, I take a clip of the actual live stream and I put it back on my Instagram stories telling them, hey, in case you missed it, go check out my stream because there was a bunch of great deals that happened today. Yeah. So
a little bit of FOMO.
Yeah, a little bit of FOMO and just driving, people back over to my storefront and back to my live streams.
Where you make the money.
Yep.
So speaking of making money, I would love to get a little bit of an insight into how you're using Manychat. I loved hearing that you were that's like the best way to, because like you said, like you have to have a strategy. You can't just put your storefront in your link in bio and expect people to always like purchase, So walk me through that a little bit.
Yeah. So I think before we kind of get into that, I think one of the things that creators should know, aspiring creators or new creators, or even existing creators, I think one of the goals for every platform that's out there, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, Snapchat, whatever else is out there, is to keep the users on the app.
Right.
I think that's really important. That's just like the elephant in the room. I just wanted to throw it out there, right? And so I think also trying to find the path of least resistance for consumers has been a challenge for us. right? Because oftentimes people, they still ask me on TikTok, even after 5 years, like, where's your link in bio?
Wow.
Right? So people still ask that. So I think it's really important to offer multiple paths for people so that they can just do whatever they need to get from point A to point B.
Right.
So number one, like, I think Instagram stories is probably one of the easiest ways to get people to your storefront, to an affiliate link, but you can also automate some of that too, right? So you can use Manychat, you can, say, hey, comment this, or type in this keyword to be able to kind of do some offline marketing to them as well. There's a lot of cool things you can do there, right? And then the second path, of course, would be link in bio. But of course, Instagram offers multiple links now, so you got to make sure to arrange them in a way where it makes the most sense for your consumers. And then the third way, which I found very effective, is using an automation tool like Manychat, right? So Manychat is really powerful in the sense where you can post your content, whether it's a post or a video or a carousel, and then you have a specific keyword, letting people know, like, hey, if you comment this, I'm going to go ahead and automatically send this to you, to your DMs.
Right.
Of course, you need to still kind of like let them know where to find it, because in some cases, especially if they're newer to Instagram or to social media, they may not be able to find your message. So you can still easily guide them.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great way to automate and use some automation to be able to get people from point A to point B.
Yeah. It's really cool to hear that you're using it, because definitely Manychat is used by a lot of affiliates. I think it's, like you said, it's a great way to get from Instagram over to the thing that you're trying to sell. I'm curious.
But let me also add.
Yeah.
So I think also it's another powerful way where if you want people to build, like if you want people to sign up for like a newsletter,
right?
Because you can add multiple buttons or multiple links.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's another, pro tip I have is, like, if you're looking to build a newsletter, which I recommend to everyone, they should build a newsletter, because reaching people offline is also very powerful.
Yeah. One of the things that I always try to share with creators who might be newer, or I don't know, just thinking about like building a creator business long term, is that at the end of the day, you don't own the social media platforms. So, but you do own your email list.
Correct.
So like if you can bring people off of the platform onto something that you actually do own, like an email list, that is gold. So like you said, a lot of people will use like freebies. Maybe it's, I don't know if they're an educational creator, maybe it's like a guide or an ebook or a template or I don't know, anything.
Yeah.
And then get people onto your email lists. Pretty cool.
Definitely, I think the how-to guides or some sort of a infographic, I think, is really powerful.
Yeah.
I think that's where like a platform like Manychat comes in.
Yeah.
Really kind of closes that loop.
That's awesome. So when you're using Manychat, I know that you use the comment to DM feature a lot. And for anyone watching, I'll have a tutorial in the description if you want to learn how to set it up. But I'm curious what you find works best, because you share a lot of products. Do you share your whole storefront? Do you share just one product? Like, have you noticed any patterns with that?
That's a good question. And I think more research and more testing has to be done to see like exactly which method works the best. I feel that sending people, and this is a kind of a 1-2 punch, right? So like, I'm going to walk through the process, right? So you have your Amazon storefront, and you've got what we call an idea list, or like a category.
Right.
And you can rearrange things in there all the time. So if I have a product review, let's say for a flashlight, I did a flashlight yesterday. I put that right at the top of my home category. And then I drive people from the Manychat auto DM to that home category. I could also send it directly to that product only, but I'll tell you where the caveat is. The caveat is if that product goes out of stock,
right,
then you potentially lose that opportunity. Right. Number two, if you send people to an ideal list with multiple products, chances are they may sit there and they may not like the flashlight, but they can find some other additional cool things that they may want to interact with. So I feel like there's like a halo effect.
Yeah.
So it really depends. I think if it's a brand deal, oftentimes they'll tell me to probably send it to the actual product page.
Right.
But if it's my own organic social post, I may send it to the ideal list, and with that product prioritized at the top.
Right. That's so interesting. So because obviously, and I'm pretty familiar with the storefront just because I also have one. Again, I'm not like a super Amazon creator like I should be maybe, but however, so I'm assuming that the Amazon storefront is something that you really do edit every day, like even just rearranging things based on what you're posting, right?
Absolutely. And I think one thing, and I always mention this even to other creators that are Amazon heavy creators, is there is a like last updated date for each idea list. So if a consumer lands on your page and it says last updated 400 days ago, that's not a really good reflection of the creator. I feel like updating it as often as you can, it kind of updates that date too, to say, oh, this is really fresh.
Got it. So you're calling me out right now. I need to go
Totally
update
fine.
my
Trust me, I've been at fault for this as well. So there's a couple of ideas I haven't updated in a while. But for the most part, yeah, I try to update it as often as possible.
I'm going to do that after this. I'm going to update my idea list.
And the other cool thing is you can also pin, I think, up to 8 different idea lists at the top. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Okay, so obviously kind of going back to like the business of it all, I know that a lot of creators kind of look at, especially newer creators, they look at content creation as this like one lane, but there's so much more that you can do. And I always try to like encourage creators, like look at what you're doing as a business, because essentially it is like you're making money, at least you're trying to make money. I know that you said your family's involved in this. I know you have a management company. Can you walk me through like how many people do you actually have like helping you with this account that you have?
Yeah, I mean, the kids, you know, of course, it's not like a full-time thing because they're focused on their studies and education. And then I have a couple of folks that are on the kind of like outsourced components. So they kind of do a little bit more research, build my collages, come up with some content ideas for me. So right now it's pretty much me plus my wife, of course, finds a lot of the products for us. And then my daughter helps when she's able to. I would say probably anywhere between about 3 to 4 people.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so what like brought you from, I guess you never really did it solo because you always had like your family's help. But I guess what was that next step of like, okay, I need to like start outsourcing more stuff? Like when did that happen for you?
Yeah, I think what do I really enjoy doing? I really enjoy finding products.
Right.
I really enjoy coming up with the hook. I really enjoy building the actual creative. That's where I felt like, okay, I want to take some of the repetitive, redundant things that are still important,
right,
but I just want to outsource that because I could spend more time finding products, testing out products, and maybe building out more specific content types. And then I can outsource some of the other stuff.
Yeah, that's really smart. And that's honestly how I've always operated too. Like there's a lot of things that I just don't enjoy. And so those are the things that I would always kind of take off my hands first. Like I know for people, it's like a manager, like answering emails and doing the brand deal.
Yeah,
thing,
I mean, I think it's twofold. I think it's like you don't enjoy it and maybe you're not really good at it.
That too. You got to admit when you're not good
so
at stuff.
I think you have to be like really honest with yourself and say, what am I really good at?
Yeah.
Just kind of focus on that.
I think that's a lot of times where people also specifically not being good at it. A lot of creators will outsource like an editor for that. You know, they're like, I can't do this. I don't want to touch it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, outsourcing, it also presents some challenges as well, right? It's not as easy as it seems because you can't just offload it and say, hey, tap into my brain and do it exactly the way I want it. Because of course, if you're someone like me where you're a little bit controlling, just because it's your business, right? It's your business, it's your baby. You're like, you want to make sure the output is as good as you would do it.
Yeah.
Right. So it may require a little bit more iteration, a little bit more patience, and just coming up with some guides and just like, you know, walking through a couple of different ways of approaching it. I think you can get there, but it may take a little bit more time.
And that is, again, where being a creator is a business, because at the end of the day, like, you know, the audience sees what the creator creates and they're like, oh, it's so easy. You know, you just stand there and make a video. But at the end of the day, there's so much going on behind the scenes. It's like an iceberg. It's like underneath the water. There's like all this stuff that I don't think a lot of people ever know about.
No, and I think, and this is something where I'm trying to get better at it, is like even share some of the behind the scenes things with my audience. I think would be super helpful, right, in terms of building that community.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I think it's kind of like a weird thing where it's like, well, I don't know if my audience would want to see that, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I always go through those things in my head of like, sometimes I don't know if people actually care, but you never know until you actually try it.
Yeah. I mean, other tips that I would have, like if you're a content creator, you're like, hey, I'm kind of stuck doing what I'm doing, or I want to make some more money. I think it's really important to not put all your eggs in one basket.
Yes.
There are a lot of content creators out there that say, you know what, TikTok's my only platform. That's where I grew. That's where I'm at. Well, I could easily sit there and say that too, because I started on TikTok.
Yeah. And
the funniest story about my TikTok journey was I went from 0 to 50,000 followers in 3 days.
What?
Crazy. I know. I don't think you can do that today. But,
oh my gosh.
So I could sit there and say, hey, you know what? Well, TikTok is the platform that's that's all I need to be on.
Right.
But I think expanding, into like Instagram, Facebook's really powerful these days as well.
Yeah.
I think it's making a big comeback. And then YouTube, right? So like YouTube Shorts is amazing. But I'm trying to tap into more YouTube long form video too.
Heck yeah.
Right. And so that's where I think some of my Amazon live stream content actually plays a part, because I'm already recording content that's an hour long. So could I take snippets of that and then, turn it into long form?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
YouTube, obviously I love YouTube. I am the YouTube manager here. But YouTube is the platform that usually pays the most to creators. I'm curious if you make any money from like actual platform monetization. Is that something that you also have like as an income stream?
I would say the only platform that's like meaningful monetization would probably be Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook is paying well these days.
Facebook, especially now. I think they just launched their new monetization program.
Yep, I was just talking about this yesterday with a coworker.
TikTok, I think it used to be fine when the creator monetization program was there, but then they changed it into like 1 minute plus.
Yes.
Content, where most of my content isn't 1 minute. So that kind of knocked me out of the park, or knocked me out of the opportunity there. On YouTube, with YouTube shopping, there's a little bit of money there.
Yeah. Yeah, because with YouTube, you can directly link the products now as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know they're really focusing on shorts in general,
They are, yeah. And so I think, it's important to kind of cross-pollinate, right? So you already have pieces of content where you can kind of use it in different places. And so that's where, again, I go back to my Amazon live streams, because all the content that I produce, I actually strip out the audio and I use that content on my live streams as B-roll content.
Wow, that's really, really smart. So again, just another way that you like reuse content.
Yep.
Work smarter, not harder type of thing.
You got to do it. Yeah. And I think, the longer you are in this field as a content creator, I think you'll learn some tricks of the trade. And I think it also does help that me having a technical background does kind of help, because I'm always evaluating, like, there has to be a better way. There must be a more efficient way of doing things. And I think that's where I have a little bit of an edge over other people.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, this is all really, really helpful. Thank you for being so open to sharing about this. I know we had talked about, obviously, affiliate being your main thing. Brand deals is another stream of income. Platform monetization, kind of. That's pretty typical, by the way. Not many creators are making a ton from platforms.
It's really hard to kind of make an entire living out of it.
Oh, 100%. That's why I always say, build your creator business. Like, have other streams of income. Is there anything that I missed? Like, any other ways that, might help another creator who's looking for a way to monetize or anything like that?
Well, I don't think so. I think affiliate marketing I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's just like it's a big industry. I think it's going to continue to thrive. I think it's just making sure to take advantage of the different features that the platforms offer, right? Like, for example, like I'm noticing like Instagram, I think Reels is still like a number one content type, but I think Carousels is another great opportunity for people to take advantage of. And you can integrate tools like Manychat into that as well, right? I just feel like I did an experiment while I was in Italy. I said, you know what, I'm traveling. Let me come up with a travel carousel. And it did really well. I was really surprised. Sometimes I was like, wow, this carousel did better than some of my videos in terms of reach. I was like, this is amazing. It's funny, if you do go check it out, it was actually, the cover photo was me at the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Me putting my hands up, trying to like prevent it from falling. And I put some catchy caption on there, something about dad of 40 plus or whatever approved travel must-haves or something like that. So it kind of caught everyone's eye. So I think taking advantage of some of those features that the platforms offer, I'm always a big fan of testing out new features. Like trial reels is important too. Like you can do trial reels and you can also integrate Manychat.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Like you're not limited. If you don't want your audience to see your content and you want to see if it performs with new followers or new or non-followers, that's a great way of doing it. I've actually had a lot of bit of success reposting content, like some of my best content as trial reels, setting up Manychat, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I had no idea. I got like 3 million views.
That's crazy.
And it didn't even go to my audience.
That's honestly what I was going to say too, is that's a really big way that people are using trial reels. And I was I'm going to make a whole video on this because there's just so much with trial reels and so many different ways that creators are using it. But that is a big one, like reposting your top performing content.
Absolutely.
And then you can also, like you said, set up the Manychat flow, do whatever you would normally do. And it just reaches non-followers. Like, it's such a good opportunity to like get people in the door.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those are some simple ways I think people can take advantage of that. And you'd be pleasantly surprised, right? I think if one thing you don't want to do is compare yourself to other creators. Trust me, it doesn't end well. Yeah. It just doesn't. I think it's more discouraging than not. I think take advantage of researching some other creators, see what's working for them, and incorporating your own style into your own content. And you'd be pleasantly surprised to see how much of it works.
Yeah.
You know,
finding what is unique to you rather than copying what you're seeing other people do well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
And then also, like, I think just really quick on the topic of working with a management company.
Yeah.
I personally don't think everyone needs a management company.
Yeah.
And I know I've talked to other creators where they're like, well, I didn't have the best experience. I think there is a mutual understanding between you and the management company, because at the end of the day, their job is to bring you potentially deals, but they're not going to secure the deals if your content and your overall account isn't amazing.
100%.
Right? Like the stats and the demographics and everything that the brands are looking for, it may not be a good alignment with the brands themselves. So it's not always the management company's fault. There just has to be a mutual understanding, like, hey, we're going to talk to these brands about you, but chances are they may say yes or no.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
We actually made a video very recently about whether you should hire a management company. And I really like that one as someone who, I'm not a huge creator, so I don't see the need to have a management company yet. But like, I've thought about it and I've seen it, and, you know, because I do a lot of brand deals and I do UGC and things like that. But at the same time, like you said, like if you're not a creator that's posting consistently, then a management company is not gonna help, like, because the brands look at your content.
Of course. Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, no matter how much pitching or whatever you do, like if your content's not there, that's.
And they also have tools to see what your analytics look like.
Oh yeah. Engagement rate, things like that.
Yeah. And that's why sometimes I feel like some creators get really mad about, like, well, why aren't they paying me the same amount as another creator? I'm like, well, maybe your engagement rates aren't where they need to be.
Yeah. No, definitely.
So let's fix these things or work on these things, and then we can get there as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So while we start to wrap up this interview, which, by the way, thank you, because this has been incredibly valuable. I'm curious, like, what is next for you? Like, is there a goal that you're working towards right now with your content or anything like that?
Yeah, for me, I think just continuing to kind of build out my offline like communication. So like a newsletter. I'm actually working on a deals centric website to drive people to there, predominantly Amazon. But there may be some opportunities for other publishers as well. So we're kind of working on that. And then kind of really also looking at long-term, like long form video as well. I feel like there's a lot of like things that I know how to do, and I feel like it could be super useful for people that are out there. I actually made a video about something related to gaming, which surprisingly, like, people were very appreciative. Like, I was like, wow, I didn't know that I solved anyone's issue. So I want to take that and go back and see, could I create some more gaming type of content? Because who knows? There's a lot of gamers out there. I'm still a gamer. And I feel like it could be something super helpful for people. So I think I need to get really surgical about the type of like niches and topics I want to cover. But I think like YouTube, as an example, is a great opportunity to really just sit there and talk. And people will listen.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So if there was one piece of advice that you had to give like a new creator, I know you gave a whole bunch in this chat, what would that advice be? Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest advice and takeaway I have for new creators is don't get discouraged. Some things are going to work, some things are not going to work. Just know that, we're all reading the same type of book. You just may be on a different chapter. Oh, I love that. Right. So you're just going to have to keep trying, pivoting, and just focus on what you think is going to help people
in terms of like the knowledge set that you have, right? So I think not trying super hard to try to be like someone that you're not, and just really incorporating that authenticity that we're all looking for. And I think the followers and the engagement rate will come with that. You know, you don't necessarily need to have a huge following to have a community. I think that's a very important distinction.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
And I think it's really important to focus on having fun. And I think having fun is the biggest takeaway I have. You got to continue to have fun. Even if it's a business, at the end of the day, you still have to have fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, very true. And very true what you said about the small community. Don't underestimate having a small but mighty community.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yep. Very
last thing that I have to ask you.
Sure.
What do your kids think about you now? You proved them wrong.
Well, I mean, they all work for me now. So I think that it's a pretty cool experience for them. And they're always like, you know, their friends all know about me. Their friends also follow me as well. And then like, even at the elementary school, like the teachers found out about me. I'm like, oh my God, it's crazy. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And sometimes like Austin's a pretty small community out here as well. So people do notice me. And I was like, oh, like, hey, I know you from your videos. I'm like, oh, okay.
Wait, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Like a local celebrity.
A little bit, yeah. It's totally fine. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Sharing all your wisdom after growing millions of followers and selling probably close to millions of items. Thank you.
At this point, probably, yeah.
At this point, right? Yeah. Thank you so much. This was really valuable.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And where can they find you on socials?
Yeah, so Simply Sal Finds, it's the same handle, all one word, across every platform that's out there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And to everyone watching, I will see you in the next episode. Bye. It pretty much ended right on the hour, huh? Yeah. I've gotten this down to a science now.